Welcome, this is Gina with your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic. This Minute Clinic will focus on how to do a blind hem. So blind hemming is a stitch that you'll find even on your most basic utility machines, and most machines come with a blind hemming foot these days. So today I'm working on the Baby Lock Brilliant. Let me show you the stitch that we'll be using for our blind hemming. You want to find a stitch that looks like this, either number 31 or number 32. It does a straight stitch on the right side and then it does a zigzag over to the left periodically. The one with the straight stitch is for woven fabrics, the one with the little zigzag there is for knit fabrics. So I've selected that stitch and let me show you what the foot looks like. So this is our blind hem foot. And you'll see that it has a little guide or a blade here down the middle, and we're going to butt our fabric up against this blade as we're stitching. So let me put that on the machine. Now the challenge for most people when they're doing blind hemming is remembering which way to fold the fabric. So I've got my fabric here, and you'll see that the right side of my fabric is much brighter than the wrong side. So I'm going to fold up my fabric as I normally would if I were making a hem. Let's say I'm making about a 1-inch hem here. So I'm folding my fabric to the wrong side. Now the important part when you're doing the blind hem is that now we want to fold all of that back to the right side, leaving about 3/8 of an inch exposed here at the cut edge of our fabric. So I'm going to put this underneath my foot and I want to line up the fold of the fabric against the blade or the guide in my foot. So I'm going to be watching right here and I want to make sure that that fold of the fabric stays right up against that guide as I stitch. So you'll see the machine takes a few stitches on the right side and then it'll take a stitch over to the left side, and a few more stitches on the right and a swing to the left. And so it's catching every 4 or 5 stitches generally. On each machine that number may be a little bit different. So when we look at our stitch this way, you'll see how it takes those straight stitches and then jumps over to the left to take a little bite of our fold. So when we open this up to the right side of our fabric, all we see is just a tiny little stitch, and here you can sort of see I have green thread there so that you would be able to see it. We want that stitch to be as small as possible, so generally you can adjust the zigzag swing of your stitch to go a little more right or a little more left depending if you're getting too big a stitch here or if it's too small. But if we had a matching thread you wouldn't see this at all once I press it. So that's how we make our blind hem. If we look on the back side, you can see the whole part of that stitch with the straight and the zigzag. And if we go back this way, the way we stitched it, that's the other side. You see the straight and the zigzag. But on the right side of our fabric, all we get is just those little picks every once in a while. So try a blind hem. This has been your Kingdom Sewing Minute Clinic.